What is going on, fight fans? This is Chris with Combat Loop MMA. We have a special guest, Tyler Rowe, the kid. He's going to be fighting very, very soon. What is going on, Tyler?
How are you, brother?
Man, I am living the dream, and I'm excited to get to talk to you. I haven't got to talk to you since, well, we go back and forth on Instagram, but really talking since Vigilant, man. And you had a swarm of kids that came out, and you had some really high-level kids. It was awesome to see you. It was awesome to talk, and now we get to blossom into a relationship. You have a fight coming up, dude. It's like
Yep.
it's awesome talking to you. So I'm happy to get to talk to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I feel blessed too.
Yeah, well, let's just start it off this way. I kind of want the fans to know, and I kind of want to know, how did you get into the fight game, man?
So it's kind of a long story. I started off with karate when I was younger, like 7 years old. Took a long break from it and told my mom I was getting in trouble at school. I'd actually called an MMA gym, and a guy named Andy, he picked up the phone and he kind of talked to my mom, and he was like, "Hey, like, you should bring your son into the gym, you know?" And she's like, "I'm not gonna have my son become a tatted up gym rat, you know, and bully people." Well, I talked her into it, kind of persuaded her, and she took me in. And this is back whenever I was training at Grindhouse, back underneath James Krause and all them. And it's now Glory MMA and Fitness. Um, and that's kind of how it started. You know, I started there, was there for a really long time until I turned 18. And then I left the gym at 18 years old and went and found other coaches that kind of suited me a little bit better. But that's kind of how it started. I didn't really get bullied too much. It wasn't anything about that. It was just, it was either be in the streets and run around with my drug addict friends at the time, or be in a gym and, take care of myself and learn how to do it the right way. So,
Hey, man, that is it's always something like that, man. The gym has saved, and martial arts saved so many people's lives, and you own a gym, dude. So you are a testament of what it can do. Now let's get into like your first fight style that you feel like you own. Like, what do you think the first fight style that you owned is in life?
so believe it or not, like, yes, I understand I am an undefeated professional kickboxer, but I'm actually a grappler. Like, what people don't realize is I've been doing jujitsu longer than I've been kickboxing. So at the end of the day, I feel like my fighting style now is kickboxing. However, if you want to grapple, we can grapple. I'm very, very comfortable there. And if you go look at my MMA fights in the past, most of them are on the floor, so I would say definitely jiu-jitsu was my first base.
That's
Um,
all, yeah.
and kickboxing. So
Well, you're undefeated in kickboxing, but this is going to be a pro MMA debut. Now,
yep.
you have the knockouts in kickboxing. What are you going to transition that kickboxing into the MMA plus that jiu-jitsu? How do you think it's going to look?
So honestly, I know my opponent. I know that he's going to be trying to take me down at all costs, right? And he's willing to trade with me too. He's not scared to throw the leather. However, I do believe that my style is very difficult, especially for heavyweights to deal with because they're a little bit slower. I kind of fight death by a thousand cuts, right? So I don't hit the hardest. However, I will hit you with 10, 15 punch combinations into kicks. And if he wants to wrestle off of that, I don't overextend myself. So if he really wants to shoot in, he's got to walk through a lot of knees and elbows. And if we go to the ground, I am very, like, as I said, extremely comfortable there. I didn't get to owning an MMA gym by not knowing how to grapple, so, my game plan is obviously to try to keep it on the feet at all costs. I guarantee you, I'm not going to be the one to shoot the takedown. However, I don't need takedowns. I get knockdowns.
Hey, let me tell you something. I know your height is like you're not the tallest guy. I think it's probably pretty tough to take you down too.
Yeah.
Like I looked at you when you were coaching. I'm like, he might be a problem to take down for me just because of your height. Like it's hard to get down that quick, and you have a low center of gravity. Tell me what
Right.
fight camp's looking like right now. I mean, I know you coach, but going with all those crazy kids, and then you probably have some high level guys around you helping you.
Yeah, so fight camp for me actually kind of nice because we always have guys in camp. That's the nice thing about my gym is we are competing so often that no matter what, there's always at least 10 or 15 guys getting ready for a fight. And that doesn't matter if they're amateurs or pros. A body's a body. You know what I'm saying? Now, do I work with like the newer beginner level amateurs? Not really. Do I still coach them? Yes. Do I have training partners in my camp that really do push me really hard? Yeah. I've got Glendale Whitney. He's an undefeated professional for LFA. Just came off a 55-second rear naked choke finish. Actually,
Woo.
I think it was rear naked choke finish on LFA. a couple weeks ago, and then I've got Kevin Kroom. He fought in the UFC. He's a smaller guy, but I promise you,
He's a
you go to the
dog.
ground. He's real good. Um, I've also got Oscar Delcid. He is a really good, well-rounded amateur. Probably one of the best amateurs in the country, if I'm being honest. I've got a really good kickboxer in Khalil Holloway, who's always helping me get ready.
Hey, listen, and you had that kid. I got to see. His name's Colin. This
Yeah,
kid, I think, is look. I don't know if you get to work with him too much, but as when I watched him in Vigilant in that fight, man, I thought he had a lot. He had a lot of good fighters, but Colin really stuck out to me.
yeah. So I do get to work with Colin quite a bit, right? He's actually got a fight next week, so we're keeping him as active as possible. He's only been training 2 years, already has 9 fights,
Yeah,
right?
he's a pup too.
And he's only 19 years old. He's got a crazy backstory. If you ever interview him, I'll let you, kind of talk about that. But he's gonna be a problem. He does work with our pros quite often. He's not going pro anytime soon. We're gonna make him have 20, 25 fights before he goes pro, but he's gonna be a
You're surrounded
problem.
by sharks, dude. You're
Yeah.
surrounded by sharks. And I
Yep.
always say, like, when you get surrounded by sharks, iron makes iron sharper, dude. So, like,
Yeah.
if you're getting beat up in your gym, it's the best kind of situation for it. And now you got to be able to win, but you have to be able to get beat up in your gym too.
Right.
How is it that you can? I want to know, how is it that you kind of balance being a coach and your career? Like, it's got to be kind of difficult.
So what I tell my guys all the time is like, I don't get to fight as often as I would like to, right? However, I did have a lot of amateur fights, right? Like
Yeah,
a lot.
20.
I had way more than 20 amateur fights. You're just looking at my MMA career.
Oh yeah,
I
that was just a minute. How many did you have in your amateur for all
so
together?
I had 29 kickboxing bouts. I
Oh,
had 21 MMA fights, 8 Muay Thai fights, and then I also boxed since a young age. I don't really count my boxing record though until it became my adult record. So I've got I've
you're
got a lot of
a
experience.
gym rat, dude. You stayed in
Yeah,
that gym since a little kid.
yeah, I've been in the gym since I was a child. So I got a lot of fights, right? I only have as a pro, I'm 3-0 in pro kickboxing. I'm 1-2 in pro boxing. I still think I should be 2-1. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, that's on a different level. Um, but yeah, I've only got 6 fights as a pro. However, I do have a lot of experience when it comes down to different fighting styles and seeing it. Um, but yeah, that's about it. I got a ton of experience. So
Well,
that's the difference between me and my opponent. My opponent's coming off of, I think, 7 amateur fights. He was 5-1 as an amateur. He's 1-0 as a pro in MMA, and then 0-1 as a pro in boxing. So I feel like I've got 5 times as many wins as he even has fights.
well, tell me about the gym. Tell me about the culture that you bring into that gym. I want to kind of know what goes on in that gym.
Yeah, so I'm actually the owner of Apex Combat Sports here in Independence, Missouri. And the kind of the culture, we are known for our striking. We are a striking gym. We do have a lot of kickboxers in our gym, whether they're amateurs or professionals. However, we also do MMA. Now we're not like a lot of the other MMA gyms around where you kind of point fight your way on the feet and then go to the grappling, right? We do train true Dutch style. So we are throwing really hard shots all the time and training and drilling. And then we're pretty cautious during sparring, but we're also not light sparring. We're not as heavy as boxers, but we're not as light as a lot of MMA gyms, right? Um, Now the thing is where we're at, we're in a pretty rough area. Like I could show you a view of the street right in front of me, and you'd know we're not in the greatest area. Um, and I opened this gym, 2 years ago, and it's been doing really good. Originally I wasn't going to open the gym where it's located. I was actually going to go to a richer part of town, and somebody told me that I should open up the gym here. I was like, okay, I'm not probably going to make a lot of money, but we'll try it. And it ended up doing really good. It's doing amazing here. I think the town that the gym is located in really needed it. These kids out here, Independence is known as the meth capital of the world. So they're either doing drugs, fighting in the street, or getting into gang violence out here. So we gave them an outlet. And that's kind of where Colin came from, the fighter that you're talking about earlier. He was one of them street kids that were starting to change his life around all the way around.
That's awesome.
What I tell
That's
what I tell people is like, yes, we are a fighting gym, but really, what me and Kroom really like hone ourselves in on coaching wise is turning tough men into gentlemen, right? Like, you don't have to be the tough guy when you fight people, bro. You're already the one fighting under the lights. You know, you can be a good human too. So
That's I deal with Deaf Ward, and one of their things that they have to do in their gym, if they want to be part of that spectacular gym, is community service, and they're always in the community doing things. And having that gym, man, it's an outlet for other people, and you're helping other people. So that's terrific, man.
yeah.
And God bless you doing that. Now, tell me about your career. Now, I know you're taking this MMA fight, but are you looking to stay in MMA and push forward and try to get deeper into the MMA scene? Are you trying to do kickboxing, boxing? What's your goal?
So I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, I'm gonna start trying to take more MMA fights. However, I do prefer to kickbox. Um, and obviously, like, yes, the UFC is the goal for any MMA fighter, right? Like that's the biggest, best promotion to get to. However, I'm gonna be honest, like, yes, I like the bright lights, the UFC. It kind of excites me. I'd rather go to ONE FC, because kickboxing and Muay Thai is an option, like small glove Muay Thai looks really fun,
It
I've
does.
and I've been kickboxing and I've been fighting Muay Thai for a long time, so yes, I'm going to continue fighting MMA. However, that is not my main goal. My main goal is kickboxing. As a kid, I always wanted to get to Glory Kickboxing. Glory Kickboxing was the biggest, baddest kickboxing show in the world. That's
100%.
still kind of a goal, but ONE FC's kind of upped it up, right? And ONE FC is kind of really the goal. So showing that I'm well rounded everywhere, like I'm not just a striker, I am also a grappler. I feel like that will get a little more eyes on me from them. And I mean, if the UFC does call eventually, like obviously I don't have a lot of MMA fights. This is my professional debut in MMA. If the UFC does eventually call, great, I'll for sure take it. But is that really the end goal? Probably not. Really, ONE FC is where I'm really trying to take my career to. However, I am willing to fight in any combat sport. It don't matter to me. As you saw when you were in Vigilant the night before, I was at Dirty Boxing with Mike Breeden. Like that looked fun too. Would I do bare
It
knuckle
always
though?
fun.
Now, would I do bare knuckles? Probably not. I break my hands anyways in fights, so I probably wouldn't fight bare knuckle. So
Yeah. I understand, man. I think you're a dog. You take whatever fight comes your way, and you'll take whatever you can get. Tell me about, if you look at like a couple of the combat sports athletes nowadays, pick one that you really look up to, and why.
so it kind of depends on what kind of sport we're talking about. If we're
Any of them.
talking,
Pick me your number one that you look up to in all sports.
so if I'm being honest, my number one would probably be Nikki Holskin, the kickboxer. Only because of one, who he is as a person, but two, we fight so similar. Like if you watch like how he fights and how I fight, it's high volume, right? Like we're volume punchers and we're gonna add those hard kicks into play too. If you're talking more MMA, I'm probably gonna say Robert Whitaker, right? Like he's probably my all-time favorite MMA fighter. He
The
has been,
Reaper.
yeah, has been for a long time. And like obviously his career is not going as good as it was for a while, right? However, like the way he fights and the way he is as a person is where I look at it. Like yeah, there's better fighters than him, but is he always going to be in an exciting fight? For sure. And is he always going to be a good person at the end of the day? For sure. And that's kind of what I look towards. Like those are my two favorites. However, somebody that I wish I fought a little bit more like would probably be, you know, somebody like Marab, where they're shooting 30 takedowns a fight, and that's an
Old Dirty
MMA.
Willie.
Yeah, like, but I'm gonna be honest, that's just not my style. As I said before, I don't shoot takedowns, I create knockdowns, right? And that's kind of how I've always been as a fighter.
Hey, man, I want you to give, because you have a lot of experience in your 27 years of being around. I want you to give some advice to up and coming fighter.
Yeah. So what I tell my fighters every time is that you're doing 1% of what 1% is going to do, right? So 1% of the world is going to step into that cage, right? And it's a 50-50 fight when you get in there. So enjoy it the entire time, like, and if you're going to do it the right way. Don't go and train with some bullshit coach that doesn't know what he's doing. Like go spend the money. Good gyms are not free. They're gonna charge you. But at the end of the day, if you want to actually do this and not be the B-side opponent, you have to do it the right way. What I also tell guys is like, don't be scared to travel. There's a lot of guys that are only willing to fight in their hometown, right? And it's because guess what? I get to sell tickets. I get to be comfortable in front of my family and friends. I get put on for my city. That's cool. But guess what? What's going to happen when you get to a big show and you got to travel and you're getting booed? Right? Like you saw that when we brought our amateurs down from Missouri all the way down to Florida. We do that 7 or 8 times a year.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, yes, it's nice to get built at home, but you also need to realize what it's like to go into enemy territory and not know if the judges are going to be in your favor. You know, luckily our guys did do pretty well that night. We went 2-2 that night,
They
right?
had a good night.
It was an all right night. However, you know, we hold everybody to a standard. Like in my gym, we are a winning gym. We like to win. You know, we're not in there just to be an opponent, you know. So what I tell these guys, make sure you're doing it the proper way. Don't go out there and bullshit your way through it. Don't go train somebody's garage unless there are some coaches that do train in garages that are amazing coaches, right? But don't bullshit your way through it. That's how you get hurt, you know. And you don't got to be
Yeah,
the tough guy when you fight. Winning is winning. You can win by any means necessary. You don't have to go out there and be a striker. If you're a wrestler, don't try to be the striker. Go out there and be the wrestler. If it works, it works. You know, the wheel works for a reason.
I
So
agree with you 100%. You take what you have and take what you're good at. Now, this is my favorite part for you is give it back to your sponsors, give it back to the people that have gotten you to where you've gotten at in life. We always want to give back, so go ahead and give back to whoever you like.
yeah, so I've actually got quite a good group of sponsors. I'm not going to shout them all out right now, but I will shout out a few of the big ones. Right, so Thorax Apparel, they definitely help out with a lot of things. They give me quite a bit of money to make sure that my camp is taken care of. The Smoothie Shop out of Belton, Missouri. I've been with them for a really, really, really long time. Well, they just got a new owner, and he happened to be training in my gym. He's like, "Hey, let me sponsor you." You know, and I was like, "All right, cool." Phillips Paving, my buddy Chaz, he owns that company. Um, and they've helped me out since day one. Uh, KC Floorworks with Mike Breeden, he's really helped me out as well, not only as a training partner and as a coach, but also, you know, he's willing to help out with my camps when I need it, you know. So guys like that, I really appreciate them. And then my number one sponsor would be Palisade Monuments, or not Palisade Monuments, Frisbee Monuments, my bad. And he's actually the dad of one of my kids in the gym, and he helps out with absolutely anything I need. You know, like if I need something fixed in the gym, he's like, "Hey, I'll be there to fix it." Like a couple weeks ago, we broke my boxing ring by accident. One of the poles just bent in, one of the welds popped during a Muay Thai round. He came in and fixed it the next day. You know, so I
That's
got to give
awesome.
him a shout out. You know, Nathan with them, he does an amazing work on their monuments. So if you ever need a headstone or anything like that, hopefully you don't, but if you ever do and you're around Kansas City, he can get you taken care of.
That's
So
awesome, man.
yeah.
That's great. Well, it's always I love getting able to get back. Now, the fans' favorite part, not always my favorite part, but contender versus pretender. You are actually the contender, and guess who is the pretender? It's going to be me. I think one day we need to be able to get in, have a little spar, have a little roll. I would really, really enjoy that.
Yeah,
I always love to learn, man. And you're a coach, and it's always fun getting beat up by someone better.
for sure. I would absolutely love to.
Yeah,
I would
I'll be up
absolutely love to.
soon. Hey, listen, I'll be up soon. I got to go see Josh. There's a couple things I got to do up in that area, but I
Yep.
would love to come see you. Love to come spend some time with you. Good luck on your fight, man. I love you, dude, and I will
Yep.
be up there. And I hope to see you soon, either down here in Florida or up there in Missouri, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna be down in Florida again in
I
December, bringing
appreciate you,
down a
buddy.
few more amateurs. So, yep, I appreciate you as well.